Fair use. Today we'll be using the fair use in the U.S. United States copyright laws, allowing limited use of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the copyrights. As for commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, and teaching and scholarship, which we will be doing today on Nine Wings.
All right.
So,
Welcome, Professor G.
welcome. I'm here tonight with iced coffee.
He's got iced coffee. I've got some a mixture.
He's got coffee and liquor. That's what he said. I heard him loud and clear. But we're going. So, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room first.
All right.
The elephant in the room is really, are we about to be a part of World War III? And if we are, why? And if why did we have anything to do with this? Meaning the United States, the CIA, the federal government, and all those type of people. I know. We wouldn't do anything like that. But guess what? We're going to teach you a little something today.
All right.
So we're going to jump off into a video that I sent Willie B. And this what we're going to start off, and then we're going to break this down as we go through it.
All right. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll have to come back, stop my screen share and bring it back. And why this video is going to be so important is we're going to set up a groundwork for who's who.
Who is who? You got popcorn, get your popcorn, get with something, to eat
Okay,
and
hold
snack.
on 1 second. You might have to. And here we go. Let's start it right here.
It seemed like an odd way to spend a Saturday, watching the blood sports at a festival for far-right extremists. This was the summer of 2019, and I'd gone to Ukraine to learn more about these groups.
Let's stop there. So the story starts off with a Saturday afternoon. He goes to Ukraine to watch far right-wing groups blood sport, meaning they're going to fight until they see blood. So let's get back to it.
From the crowds, one thing seemed pretty clear about them. They weren't bothered by the fact that this event was organized by the Azov movement, a far-right group that has increasingly been linked to violence around the world.
The shooter.
So they said a group called Azov. So let's look at what that is.
All right, problem there.
So Azov is a spiritual, is a special operation detachment. Formerly the paramilitary National Guard of Ukraine. So let's get back in. Let's see. So would they be neo-Nazis?
Well, that's what it sounds like.
It says, who are they? A far right neo-Nazi. Now, Willie B asked me, what is a neo-Nazi? So, as we're learning today, we're going to find out what is a neo-Nazi. We know what a
Right.
Nazi is, but what is a neo-Nazi?
Yeah, what is a Neo? Like, where's Neo coming at? The only thing I know about Neo is from the Matrix.
I don't think that's the same type of neo, but
I don't think so either.
so let's see. Neo is a Greek word that means new. So this is a new Nazi.
Oh,
So Neo is the new Nazi.
why do we need a new Nazi?
No. So the Azov are the new Nazis in Ukraine who Vladimir Putin is now just 2 weeks ago started fighting with, I guess, if that's how you tell the story. But I don't think that's how the story should be told. So we're going to let somebody, probably from North Africa, tell us the story. Let's go.
Is linked to a 74-page manifesto filled with white supremacist rhetoric.
Did that look like tiki torching?
FBI agents say he expressed a desire to travel to Ukraine to fight with a far-right paramilitary group.
At least one member of an American hate group also trained in Ukraine with Azov Battalion.
According to the FBI,
Wow.
domestic terrorists killed 39 people in fiscal year 2019, making it the most deadly year for domestic terrorism since the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing.
The threat of white nationalism has evolved since Oklahoma City, where a domestic terrorist used a truck bomb to kill at least 168 people. Police don't tend to see such terrorists as lone wolves acting in isolation anymore. It's become clear to law enforcement that these attackers often have links to a global network, one with common goals and a shared ideology.
We are looking very hard at white supremacists or neo-Nazis here, connecting through social media online with like-minded individuals overseas, and in some cases actually traveling overseas to train.
Over the last few years, experts in violent extremism have grown especially alarmed about the Azov movement. The group emerged from the revolution that swept across Ukraine in 2014, and it has gotten a lot stronger amid the ongoing war with pro-Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. The fighting in that region has become kind of ideal breeding ground for militias like Azov. At their public events, one thing that surprised me was how many Ukrainians tend to see Azov not as militants or extremists, but as war heroes. In Kiev, the capital, I watched an Independence Day parade where veterans of the Azov battalion marched alongside other volunteer militias, surrounded by cheering crowds, who thanked them for defending Ukraine against Russia. But even at the march, there were signs of the far-right ideology that's so common inside Azov. The symbols on their flags have been especially controversial. Azov says it combines the letters I and N for idea of nation, but extremism experts see it as an emblem of Nazism.
The official symbol of Azov, it's a version of Volksangel. It was one of the symbols of one of SS division during the World War II. It is one of more or less usual symbols for neo-Nazi groups all over the world.
And it's not just about their symbols. When it was founded in 2014, Azov drew many of its commanders and recruits from Ukraine's most notorious far-right groups, including outright neo-Nazis.
We basically recruited everyone.
Wow.
Okay, so we know that this did not start with Russia going on, 2 or 3 years ago. This is something that has been going on for a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at, okay, you're telling me 2014. So who was in office in America in 2014?
Mr. Obama.
So this has been on during Obama. Okay. So 2014, in January of 2014, they pulled at January 6th. And they took over the country to the point of the other president left. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is get y'all up to speed. I'm gonna pull up this video, this next video, because you gotta watch all these parts to kind of get what's going on. If not, you're gonna be lost in the sauce, because believe you me, the sauce is muddy, it's dirty, it's gritty and grimy right now. I mean, this ain't the same sauce that you were used to. So let me pull this sauce up, because even I was a little thrown off by the sauce that happened.
What kind of sauce they got over there?
So we know about the Civil War.
Right.
Okay. So we got to kind of understand what really happened, you know, what pushed them to this level of where they're at now. Okay. So now,
Right.
I guess we need to find the crisis. So let's go back.
Well, see, this is the
so
crazy.
it's so much. So I'm trying to find something quickly that I can give you. So 7 years ago, here's the easiest way. It takes 6 minutes of our life, and we're gonna kind of get to the whole thing in 6 minutes. 6 minutes like Dougie Fresh, and you're gonna be there, buddy.
It all started with a question which had vexed Ukraine since the end of the Cold War. Should this nation of 46 million people forge closer ties with its traditional ally and powerful neighbor Russia, or should it cozy up to the European?
So look at this map. If you see this map, Russia's in red.
Right.
Now the blue
It's got to be NATO.
is NATO. But now NATO, and I'll let them tell you. So just remember the blue and the red. That's all I'm going to say.
Union. The question turned toxic when the then President Viktor Yanukovych, strong-armed by Vladimir Putin, opted for Moscow just days before he was due to sign a deal with Brussels. The crowds in the capital Kiev felt betrayed and took to the streets. Kiev's Independence Square, or Maidan, became a caravanserai of protest. Having sided with Russia, the authorities mobilized the feared Berkut riot police to stem the protests. The barricades up, and although the focus was one square in one city, Maidan felt like a smoke-choked version of the Berlin Wall, with east and west facing off against each other once again. For 2 months, the protests swelled. The harder the authorities clamped down, the stronger the response from the demonstrators. On the morning of February the 20th, everything changed. The government side started shooting with live ammunition. We still don't know exactly who gave the orders, why, and who carried them out, but dozens of people were killed. Nearby luxury hotels were turned into ER units. So was one of the capital's cathedrals. Amid the raw grief, we all assumed that the president's forces would storm the square. But the next morning, all signs of the regime had vanished, as had President Yanukovych himself. He had fled with his family in the middle of the night, joining the Russians he'd struck a deal with. His vast private compound on the outskirts of Kiev, never before glimpsed by the public, was now thrown open to the curious masses. What we all found inside was a neverland of conspicuous consumption. The private zoo where the animals were startled to see.
Now you know he was rich, because they just called him Neverland. He got a private zoo. Yo, bro. Now, we're getting to the bottom of all this. So, at the last moment when he was supposed to go into this guy was supposed to sign with NATO and the UN, he flips and goes with Russia. Russia pays him or however they take care of him. And then the people revolt. January of that year, they put certain people in the United States try to pull.
Right.
But they were successful. So now let's get back into the last 4 minutes of this.
Hundreds of ordinary visitors. The bottles of cognac with the president's bespoke label. The visitors to this stately pile were left gasping. Enter Vladimir Putin. The Russian leader was busy exploiting the turmoil in ways that no one could have foretold. In no more than a few weeks, he organized the annexation of the Crimean Peninsula, the prized region of Ukraine with the closest ties to Russia. Troops started to pour in quietly. They became known as Little Green Men because they didn't wear the official Russian insignia, and Moscow denied all knowledge of them. It proceeded largely without incident, mainly because the majority of Crimean people felt they belonged more to Russia than Ukraine anyway.
Okay.
Formal annexation was voted in with an overwhelming majority, and Vladimir Putin arrived in Crimea as the victor, celebrated at home as the savior of Russia's bruised national ego, but vilified in the West as a dangerous leader who was prepared to redraw the borders of Europe. Sanctions against him started, but any military response was ruled out. After Crimea, the center of attention moved to Ukraine's wealthy east, the Donbas region, replete with coal, steel, turnips, and growing resentment towards the new government in Kiev. Here too, little green men with ever bigger guns started to appear. The confrontation was brewing, and then came a horrific surprise. Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 was en route from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, its 298 passengers and crew oblivious to the conflict taking place 30,000 feet below them. It is widely assumed that a Russian-made Buk missile brought down the plane. Everyone on board died. The wreckage was strewn over a 10-mile radius.
10 miles.
This knot of twisted metal and wires was the cockpit of flight MH17. Okay,
Wow.
You can see the dashboard or bits of the dashboard over there. The control panel. And what's so extraordinary is that all this in the middle of a field of sunflowers. Moscow blamed the Ukrainians for shooting down the plane in order to stir up international outrage against Russia. But the West sided with Kiev. The sanctions were stepped up, and it didn't help Moscow's PR battle that one of the biggest crime scenes in modern aviation history was guarded by the alleged criminals. And for days the bodies were left in cattle trucks waiting to be shipped out of the war zone. With outrage at fever pitch, the Ukraine crisis had gone global.
So this is when we start hearing about it. That plane crash is when we really started noticing. But now you have to, you got to ask yourself, if Russia gave you one set of green men, who gave guns and weaponry to the other set of green men?
Right.
Because they don't say that. So someone empowered these green men who are neo-Nazis. So now let's get back to the story, the last 2 minutes.
Despite numerous attempts at negotiations and ceasefires, both sides prepared for more war. By the beginning of 2015, the Donbas region resembled the battlefield it had become at the end of World War II. At the time of Euro 2012, for instance, Donetsk's brand new airport stood as a symbol of the region's affluence. It was rendered unrecognizable, courtesy of rebel and Ukrainian
The new
artillery.
airport torn up in 3 years.
There were reports of atrocities committed by both sides. More than 5,000 people had now lost their lives. Those left behind were forced to scavenge for survival in images that most had assumed had belonged only to World War II armies. A drama that had begun with one question about Europe was now haunted by another. Where would all this end? Could it really degenerate into a fully fledged war with a nuclear-armed Russia on the West's doorstep? So far, no one is confident enough to say never. Thank you for watching.
This was from 6 years ago.
Gee.
So this is 6 years ago. Okay. So now,
Yeah.
when you get into, you got to remember something else went on funny in Ukraine. Do you remember what else went on funny in Ukraine?
What?
So now we got to explain this also.
Hey there, Bailey and Nick here.
Are you still?
So basically, also you have Trump, who's into a scandal or had a scandal with Ukraine. Also, Biden was pulled into a scandal with Ukraine. So let's listen to this.
Understand the Trump-Ukraine scandal. House Democrats have finally crossed the Rubicon to a formal impeachment process based on a stunning admission from President Trump that he asked a foreign government to dig up dirt on a political rival. In this case, Joe Biden. That is an abuse of power of his office, and enough to get Nancy Pelosi to initiate formal impeachment proceedings against him. Here are 5 things to keep in mind about the Trump-Ukraine scandal. According to a call summary released by the White House, on July 25th, President Trump asked the new Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, to look into false allegations that Joe Biden stopped Ukraine from prosecuting his son. Let me back up and identify all the players here. We're talking about 2015 and 2016, when Joe Biden was still vice president. His son, Hunter Biden, was serving on the board of a Ukrainian oil and gas company called Burisma. The prosecutor general of Ukraine at the time was a man named Viktor Shokin, and he was investigating Burisma. But he was not investigating Hunter Biden specifically, and he definitely wasn't investigating Joe Biden. So point number 1, Trump's claims are wholly wrong. He and Rudy Giuliani have been trying to gin up this fake story to make Biden and his family look bad, even more so since Biden officially kicked off his 2020 campaign. But Ukrainian prosecutors have said as recently as May 2019 that they had no evidence of wrongdoing by Biden or his son. So keep this in mind when you're hearing about Ukraine's investigation into the Bidens. That investigation never existed. A more accurate way of saying it is that Trump is trying to fabricate an investigation into the Bidens. Okay, so Viktor Shokin is investigating Burisma. What was happening at the time is that Joe Biden, along with the rest of the US government, European governments, and the International Monetary Fund, were trying to get Shokin fired as prosecutor general because they didn't think he was doing a good enough job investigating corruption. Let me say that more plainly. VP Biden was actually pushing for better oversight of Ukraine, and specifically better oversight of Burisma, the company connected to his son. Trump and Giuliani are trying to spin this in the opposite way, but if you check news reports from that time, you'll see the real reason Biden was trying to get Shokin fired. Even people involved at the time are speaking up about it now too. This tweet from Congressman Tom Malinowski says, "I was an assistant secretary of state when this happened. All of us working on Ukraine wanted this prosecutor gone because he was not prosecuting corruption. So did the Europeans, so did the IMF. This didn't come from Joe Biden. He just delivered our message." It's also pretty rich that Trump and Giuliani are now trying to pretend they care about corruption in Ukraine, because Trump literally hired the guy who was paid millions of dollars by the previously very corrupt president to lobby on his behalf, and he did not disclose that to the US government. That's just one reason why Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign manager, is sitting in prison right now. Okay. So corruption is and has been a real problem in Ukraine, stretching back decades. Who was Volodymyr Zelensky? He won the presidential election in April 2019, specifically because he ran on an anti-corruption platform. He wanted to drain Ukraine's swamp, so to speak. Zelensky has been put in a really difficult position here, because his reputation is as an anti-corruption leader. But right at the beginning of his term, he's being pressured by the President of the United States to fabricate an investigation for political purposes.
Is it just me, or while he was sitting there with Trump, he looked like Tony Montana? It's me in the world. You look like Tony Montana. He looks like right before he got up and said, Trump, meet my little friend.
For political purposes. Zelensky is also an inexperienced politician, and he has a lot to prove. He was actually a TV comedian before he was elected president.
Wow. He was a TV comedian. What?
Shout out to my son Braden, Braden was the first one who brought this up to me and said, Dad,
really?
Yeah. He said, Dad, you know Zelensky's an actor, right? And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. I don't think he was a good one either. Thanks,
hold
Braden.
up. So hold on. So Zelensky could be literally playing the Mandarin.
I told you a couple episodes ago we needed Iron Man. I told you that. This shit's getting real deep right now.
Oh, snap.
He had a TV show where he played the president and prioritized rooting out corruption. And then he did it in real life, and it worked. The mind boggles. But at the same time that this request from Trump about the Bidens was being made, Zelensky was trying to get military aid from the US government. Remember, there is a war going on in eastern Ukraine. It began when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014 and annexed Crimea. Since then, they've been trying to take control of eastern Ukraine as well. Zelensky needs the US and Europe's help in fighting back. Days before this fateful phone call, Trump instructed his administration to withhold almost $400 million in military aid to Ukraine. That's aid that Ukraine desperately needs. When Zelensky brings up this aid on the call, Trump's next words are, quote, "I would like you to do us a favor." That sounds like a quid pro quo. Ukraine helps Trump, then Trump helps Ukraine. It's important to remember that Trump abused the power of the presidency just by asking Zelensky to look into the Bidens in the first place. That is impeachable on its own. You don't even need proof of a quid pro quo, but it's there, and Trump has also recently said on camera,
"Why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt?"
which seems to indicate he was knowingly withholding the aid on purpose. Okay, bear with me, we're almost to the end here. The fourth point to remember is that this was actually all being done in the open for months, but it wasn't getting a ton of press coverage. Giuliani has been openly talking since earlier this year about getting Ukraine to look into the Bidens. This is important because it means there's really no way for them to believably lie about this. Which brings me to my last point, number 5. Giuliani, Attorney General Bill Barr, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and Vice President Mike Pence are all very much implicated in this scandal. Trump is getting a lot of the oxygen for understandable reasons, but there's evidence that Barr, Pompeo, and Pence all acted outside the bounds of their office in order to push Trump's anti-Biden agenda in Ukraine. Their possibly also impeachable behavior should not be getting lost in this. So those are your 5 things to remember. Disinformation coming straight from the White House is kicking into high gear on this one, as well as projection.
So, let's see what we have here. We have a war, a civil war that's been going on, waged by Azov that went against the government. Once they took the government over, then Russia must not recognize them as a real government. And so they went over and took Crimea. So it'd be like Cuba coming over and taking Florida. Okay?
Right.
So now we're at a place now where you have a war in the streets. You have Zelensky trying to get power, money. You have that his military is basically a neo-Nazi thing, and you find out that they've been encroaching upon Russian land, which they didn't tell you that, and they've been treating certain races of people over there not right, as we could see in Ukraine when the bombing was going on, and they could let everyone get on the buses. They didn't let the black people.
Right.
So now you find out, okay, so the U.S. government has been in cahoots with neo-Nazis.
Right.
Our government has been in cahoots with the new Nazis. The new Nazis can,
which is they're recruiting not only over there, but they're recruiting over here.
Here. And these people are going over there to train how to be paramilitary neo-Nazi. Now,
and then bring it back here.
Bring it back here. And you wonder, why are we so tied up over there?
Right, because we're heavily invested in Ukraine.
But if Ukraine is now basically the Azov party, and they are neo-Nazis. I didn't even show the videos where they talk about their ideas and what they stand upon, because that will really make you understand what they are.
Right.
But if you know what a neo-Nazi is, if you know what the far left movement is, if you know what Madison is in the wheelchair in North Carolina, if you know what Marjorie Greene is, it's just like that. So what kind of people do they not like?
If you're not pure, then you ain't right.
But what if you are pure, but you still got a different tone than them? They still don't like you. They want you gone.
Well, maybe that means they're not who they say they are. Or they don't know.
No, they definitely aren't who they say they are. I mean,
so that will,
if it barks like a barbarian, fights like a barbarian, kill people like a barbarian, I'm just gonna label it a barbarian. I mean, my daddy told me to label ducks ducks, and thugs thugs, and he even said something about hoes, but he just told me to leave them by the rakes. But you know, once you know, it's kind of hard not to know once you know.
Yeah.
Now, why would we be backing Ukraine?
What do they have? What do we actually like need from them?
Nothing. Nothing but now we have a lot of refugees about to come over here.
We already have refugees.
No, not like what we're about to get. There's 9 million displaced people in Ukraine. 9 million. Probably that many homeless people in America also. So they're going to bring these people over here, set them up in apartments, houses, homes, give them money, credit, welfare, food stamps, all that. And they probably got them the neo-Nazi mentality. It goes back to the Barbarian Wars when they went over there and freed the white North Africans and brought them here to the Americas.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Do you know that the African Queen's son is here in the United States? And he does not, the African Queen's son does not look like what you would think. Well, it's not her son, but it's like her great-great-great-grandson. And then you have the European king's grandchildren here too, and they don't look anything like you would think. It's almost like trading places when you see the two of them. Because when I saw the video, I had to send it to Willie B like, yo, bro, do you see this? Do you see this?
Like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's trading places. I would say well, the grandson. We would say he's a grandson, right? Or great grandson.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much he will be the Hakeem.
Correct.
If you don't know who Hakeem is, watch Coming to America. You figure it out. Pretty much, he's living here in royalty, and he's not of this complexion. But
Now,
he's royalty, though. Remember that.
Now, we're going to go, since we're on Ukraine and Trump and powers that be, let's talk about the rioter who says he's being treated worse than a black person.
Oh, this guy. So
this, yeah.
Yo, I had to like watch this video like no lie 4 times because I could not believe the nonsense that came out of his mouth. But it's not 100% nonsense because he acknowledges that he knows that we get treated bad.
But he doesn't want to be treated bad himself.
No, he wants the privilege, but he got the privilege because his name is Brandon Fellows. Hey, it's fair use, it's public record. He's out there. And he felt like he was being treated so bad that he said, you know what? I'm going to represent myself in court. So he has an indictment charge, a felony charge of obstructing an official, official proceeding in connection with the Capitol riots.
You know what he sounds like?
Huh?
Sounds like a hell of a friend.
and they got him on, he caught him going through a window. What are you doing? Yes, he went through a broken window. They said that he wound up smoking weed. In their case, they named it marijuana, marijuana.
Mary Jane.
And senators, what's his name? Jeff Markley? I don't know how to do it. I think it's Jeff Markley. I could change that. But they were sitting in his office. So you smoking in the senator's office smoking weed. But the thing about it is wound it up that they use. Like, how do you walk into the senator's office and, you know, I just wound up smoking weed. I don't even know how I got there.
Watch.
I don't think you just
Weed shows up. But this is CBD. But in other words, what he's saying is they were just sitting there like, we broke in. I don't know what to do. Where'd that come from? I don't know. It was in the senator's drawer. Let's smoke it and up. Hold on. You wonder why you're getting treated like a black person.
Maybe
only a black person would go into the White House and light up some weed. That's some Lil Wayne shit right there. I mean, shit. I mean, in the White House, Donald. I mean, shit. You got me in this big ass sweater. Shit. Hold on.
Right. Like, it's a done deal. Like,
I mean, at this point, after you broke into the Capitol, smoking weed is the smallest of your problems, sir. I want to tell you that. If I was your lawyer, I would say that. The smoking weed part is the smallest of your problem. I don't even know why you're talking about that.
He ain't got a lawyer. He don't got, and check this out. This is white privilege. Because he was able to get out. They let him free to handle whatever he wanted to handle, as far as what he wanted to do his family business and all that. And guess what he ends up doing?
What's he do?
Not showing up to court appearances.
Black person thing.
And I think he was calling his parole officer mama.
You sure he's not a brother? He might be a brother. Sugar tits, come on, baby. Mama, you know I'm gonna be 15 minutes. I know I'm supposed to be there at 7, but I'm white. Give me a little privilege to get there at 7:30, mama. Like, how do you talk to your like, what person goes to the probation officer just up calling her mama? We need to know what the probation officer looks like.
That means they gotta be cool.
The probation officer is saying, "Hey, I'm with you."
You know,
Mr. Fellows.
That I've come across or knew, they never called. They never gave their probation officer a nickname. I mean, if they did, it was on some, I'm dissing this guy or female.
Yeah. Here comes Dickwad. Here comes fuck boy. Like, they have all kinds of names. No one calls.
Like here come old Otis.
Yeah. Like your person at your job that you don't have like a, you know, everybody hates the boss, and here comes lovely Ben. What?
What are you talking?
No, Ben is a tyrant. Ben works us. Ben does all this stuff to us. Oh, I love Ben. Ben's great to me. Oh, nothing's better than Ben. I don't. Ben's giving out raises, and Ben does all this great stuff for me. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're not the same. Why do you love this man and I don't? It's the way he treats me. Probation officers don't treat it. That means she bringing them cake over and shit. They having coffee. She running to the ABC store for him. Shit, you can't go out since after 8. I'll bring you by a bottle. I check in on you. How's this working? I'm being real.
He got out on his own, man.
Well, a lot of white people get out on their own. You know that, sir. They do that.
So what is the real punishment? To me, it's like there's not really that much of a punishment.
No, there is no punishment. Now, he's gonna have time to think about this, Willie B. You know that, right? You know why?
But do you know how many people that was there? Like, are you like? I mean, it's gonna take some time to get through all the people.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, here's the thing. Technically, I wanted to say this a long time ago. That when they say they don't know who was there, and all that shit, that's a lie. Everybody who has a cell phone, all they gotta do is ping all the cell phones that was there. It'll give them the IP address and whose phone was there. If they wanted to do it.
Right. So that means you could have found Mr. Nugget.
Yeah, Mr. Nugget's gone.
Mr. Nugget need to get locked up too. I'm just saying, if I could get into that place with no arms and no legs, then I mean I understand the point, because how are you going to arrest a person with no arms and no legs? Like
you tie a belt around them and just drag them, I guess. I don't know. All right, what are you gonna tell him? Put my arms behind you? The whole while this person was like, Trump is the president. Trump. I'm like, they don't have no arms. And then I'm like, they're in a wheelchair. Who wrote this motherfucker? Yo, January 6th shows so many flaws within the United States. When you see a motherfucker with no arms, who someone has to push in, saying that they took over the Capitol? Hold on. Now you can't find Chicken McNugget with no arms. I'm pretty sure there's not that many people running around with no arms as Trump supporters that ran in buildings. I'm I'm pretty sure that person had a cell phone. I'm definitely you. I'm definitely you get.
I'm figure out like how he's gonna arrest. What's that Virginia rapper?
Oh, Bugsy for sitting on top of the Jeep. Yeah, shout out to Bugsy.
Look, the thing about it, he didn't even make it inside.
But what I heard, my boy Bugsy the Don, yo, shout out Bugsy, yo, I heard they giving him like some of the most time of everybody, but he's a black guy.
That's crazy.
Who went out there looking at the shit and said, "Shit, let me hop on top." But also, I'm gonna tell you some crazy shit that I heard. I don't know how true this is, but I heard that they got him because he's a convicted felon. So they got him for being around weapons because he sat on a tank. Hold on.
That's
so that means if I'm a felon, I can't go to a museum that has tanks and stuff and take a picture and lean against the tank. What does this mean? But if I have no arms, I can go all the way in the building and get rolled back out the building. Get the fuck out of here, bud.
But look. Maybe missed my point. Oh my gosh. All right.
You know what? If I was the police, you know what I would have did, right? I would have put a belt around him and tied him to a pole, right? Then I would have walked down to my local McDonald's and got me a cup of coffee. And I would say, "Can I get 2 sweet and sour packs?" Then I would have walked back up to the little Chicken McNugget.
What if? I'm about to dip you.
It seems like you're a little sweet and sour. We're gonna dip you in the sauce, see if we can get you right on your path. But we send you to jail. Because the boys in jail, they need a little dipping sauce too. Because you're gonna get passed around, little chipmunk.
Hey, look, so for you to arrest him for being by a tank, right? If you go shopping anywhere that permits somebody to carry a gun, concealed, let's say. So you mean you get arrested for that too because you walked into a mall to go shopping?
Be around guns. So if you're here in North Carolina, some nuts, a lot of nuts, a bunch of nuts, go to the grocery store with guns on their hip, like they're going to the OK Corral for a shootout. With Corona, I don't like people being close to me. I really don't like you being close to me and you got a gun on your hip in a grocery store with no live animals other than humans. So I always, like, the guy got mad at me. I asked him a simple question. You had to kill that chicken or the beef in the back? What?
I'm just saying. Look.
I'm being real. Like, what white man is living the life of the baby?
I mean, Ice-T. I'm not Ice-T. What's his name? Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice? Ice baby? Ice baby.
Now,
no.
He needed that when he got hung up off that damn roof.
Hell yeah. See, you're going to meet with Suge Knight. It's early 90s.
Right.
At that moment, you need a legal handgun, illegal handgun, grenade launcher. I mean, salute C4, anything you can get your brass knuckles, anything you, because Suge Knight and them won't playing. That they took that man and took his legs and hanged him over the building like this, and said, give up your money, or we're gonna let you go. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, if you're over the building, they're holding you, and you try to shoot them, they let you go, or you kill them. No. Yeah, Vanilla Ice need a gun. But
in that situation,
in certain situations you do. But if you're going to Food Lion to pick up some pastrami, some provolone cheese, and a couple bagels, what the fuck do you need a handgun for?
No, I don't need one.
Okay. I mean,
if it's at night, I'll probably be like, all right, cool. I might want a little protection. You never know. But other than that, I'm really not thinking about it.
Where are you at? New York? Charlotte? What are you protecting in the East? Let's be real. Bodies are not dropping down here. Like, yo, let's be real, bruh. Bodies are not dropping like that. It ain't like, when the last time you came out of the grocery store? Like, the city talk. Let's be real. We both live in the city. So we're going to have a city conversation and country conversation.
Oh
Yo, you know Tim up in Prospect, right? You know, his sister was coming out of the damn B-Lo and shit, and the niggas mugged her and shit, took her groceries, took her cell phone, and took her car. Same conversation out here. Yo, you know Tim from Bethel? Yeah, you know his sister? Yeah. You know, she went to Food Lion. For real, yeah. She saved like $5 on steaks, so they was on sale this week. Then she got on her car and came back home. Ain't nobody. It's a different conversation. Like, there's no reason. There's no reason. It ain't like you're walking in Food Lion. Yo, let's be real. You're in Brooklyn. You're in Brooklyn, Bronx. Shit. Trenton, New Jersey, even Atlanta. You park your car. You're walking through the store. There's a bunch of bloods posted up. You might need your gun. But here in the Carolinas, especially Eastern Carolina, I'm walking to Food Lion, Kroger's, Harris Teeter. Shit, even the hood shit, the Tropicana, ain't no bloods posted up outside.
No.
Piggly Wiggly. Ain't nobody. The worst thing you might do is get a nigga hit you up and be like, yo, can I bum a cigarette? Yo, you got an extra $1. That's about the worst. Motherfucker, leave me alone. I don't get, no. That's about it.
That's crazy.
And if he's begging you for $1, he don't got money for a gun. And if he do got a gun, and he's begging you for $1, he probably don't got money for bullets. I'm just saying.
Maybe you got a deal or something, But all right.
Hold on. Let me think about it. When was the last time you heard your wife say, hey, Willie B, Don was coming out of the grocery store and somebody just walked up on him and knocked him out. It's gang initiation. Right there at the Piggly Wiggly. Willie B, watch when you go into the Walmart because the Crips are out there and they're initiating and they're knocking out people. That doesn't happen around here.
Yeah, because they did initiations when I was leaving school.
See, that's some city shit.
Outside, right in front of school, like, yo. Then they had some other dudes posted up down there by the 65 ready. Yeah. I mean, yo.
I did that shit in reverse. One time I ran into some gang shit in the city. So you ever watch Usual Suspects? And
I
it
feel like I
was
have.
Caesar Coast.
I think I have.
So at the end of the movie, the dude was like, he's walking, and he's like walking flicked. Then as he gets away from the police station, he starts walking regular.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so as I'm walking up on the gang, hang on. What up, dude? What's wrong here? In the other hand, I'm carrying my damn NPC heavy as hell, man. I made it.
Well, I don't even know. You can't get like, if you driving, I don't even know if you get into Brooklyn with it because they got the scanners. You done. It's pretty done deal.
Done
Down
deal.
here, I mean, don't get me wrong, down here is a different environment, man. I mean, because everybody know that they got a right to carry, they necessarily don't mean that they're gonna actually do it.
You got a right to carry, but I mean, I'm not gonna let you know if I'm carrying.
No, but
all right, if let's be real. If something goes down in the grocery store, and I see you already got it on your hip, it looks like you're the one with the attitude. I'm gonna knock you out first, and you not on the.
What makes you go? Why? Why would you go for the guy that's carrying? Oh, okay.
He's the only one other than grocery store with a gun, other than me. I mean, what the fuck? Like, you got yours out. Well,
I take this gun and I got mine. I got two.
Even worse, I wouldn't even take his gun.
Oh wow!
You done quick draw him and draw his ass. Talking to him like Jay-Z. If you draw, you better be the best. I mean Picasso. If not so, God bless.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I had so talking to him like it's an old Jay-Z friend of folk shit.
Wow.
It's hard to concentrate now. You making me nervous. Like, if I go in the back of the store, what's back there that you need a gun to go get meat? Is it wild chicken, ostriches just running around? Is it wild boars? You got to go back there and shoot your own coyote. What? I know what the gun is for. You have to kill your own kangaroo to get your oxtails.
This guy. Oh my gosh. We are never going to get over this. We are never going to get over this oxtail situation. I understand, sir. I understand. But
there's a kangaroo without a tail right now. Go ahead. And their tails grow back. So it's a reusable food resource. Chippy chop, chop, chop. It'll grow back, Snippy. You'll be a little off balance for a little bit. But
the kangaroo has a piccolo effect.
Yeah. Doesn't piccolo and kangaroo look kind of alike? You know what you
No, they don't look kind of alike. This don't make no sense at all. No, they don't.
Don't Piccolo got a tail?
No. He's a mammoth.
Which one has a tail?
Goku and well, not Vegeta anymore, but then the
I'll just say this: don't let him get that tail around South, a Southern woman or a damn West Indian woman. That motherfucker going in the pot.
You know what? My work.
Yo, that would be the illest cartoon. have him fight a damn Southern cook who's trying to take his tail. You know? And then she take his tail and he throw a couple of Dragon Balls in the soup for flavoring and shit, yo.
Oh, get you good.
Oh God.
No, I didn't know, but you know what thing about kangaroos? I didn't know they could box like that though.
Shit. Kangaroos. Let me see if I can find you something that's gonna blow your mind before we end this podcast. I'm gonna show you. I'm about to show you something.
You ready? Like, I was like, yo, this dude about to get it in. Like they had this short clip I was watching. You know that whole thing. They be like, run. So the kangaroo was messing with the dog or whatever. So the dog, barking or whatever. So the kangaroo's, boxing the dog around. And then the dude comes up and tries to save the dog. All you had to do is call the dog back to you.
Yeah.
And just be out.
Oh yeah. Nah, I remember
And
that.
the dude came out and hooked the kangaroo. He threw a punch at the kangaroo. Kangaroo like, I was like, like, what are you doing?
I'm about to put you up on something that you have never seen, sir.
Oh, man.
Here you go. The kangaroo rat. Yo.
This thing like, oh!
Real life motherfucking Master Splinter. Real life motherfucking Master. Did you see that shit? You gotta think, and they had to put it in slow motion. Like, this is some of the realest. He says, not today. Boom. When he put his foot on his face and kicked it off, double tap the ground, watch this shit right here is epic. You just realized what it was, huh?
Whoa.
Oh.
I didn't even know that existed.
Sir, what did I tell you a kangaroo was? Thought I was joking with you?
What is this, like the evolution? It's like Pokemon or something like that. Like he went from a Charmander, what is it? I forgot the form. Oh, to a Charizard. Where are we getting this? You know what? It reminds me like a.
He spit around. kicked him. He did the Neo shit.
Oh shit, I'm fucked up in the game, bro. I'm looking at my camera thinking my job. I had too much to drink.
Man, I'm the one with the CBD. Oh, okay.
Shit. I'm looking at the door like, oh shit.
I kept wondering, like, what's he looking behind him for? What's he seeing? What is behind him and what is he looking at?
Word. I'm like, I know. Oh, damn. Oh, I want camera. Only on 9 weeks.
Only on 9 weeks. So tonight on 9 weeks, you've learned there's a real life Master Splinter.
Right. AKA Pikachu.
Pikachu, who was whipping ass in the damn desert, somersaulting, flipping, and jumping in the air like Jet Li without the ropes.
Kicking snakes in the face. Like, wow.
And he's also known as the Kangaroo Rat. We also understand a little bit more about the Ukraine crisis. So as you Black people, you Americans start to wondering, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You start to wondering, should I donate to this? Or if you're thinking, should I go and join the war for this? Talk with your kids and explain this to them. Show them the videos. Show them the stuff at the beginning, fair use. Let them see what it's all about before. Look at all the stuff. Look at Ukraine 2014 Civil War. Think about it, understand it, and maybe it won't make sense to you like it don't make sense to us, because we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
That's something totally dealing with how Russia and them dudes, they got
that's a European stuff. Some real European stuff. But we're gonna talk about more stuff next week. I think next week we're gonna touch on that daylight savings time, because I don't think people understand about what's about to happen when we lose time going forward and backwards to keep the equilibrium going. But when it's nighttime, in the middle of the day, but really, my personal opinion about it, they're gonna do it so they can get more daylight and make you work longer.
I felt the same way, man. I don't need to work a regular job. All they gonna do is it's still sunlight out there sometimes, son. I don't know, man. We're gonna do that next time. There's
a lot of information tonight, and give them a lot of information, and I'm still, you know what they need to do, right? They need to militarize a couple kangaroo rats and just send them over there and let them kick ass. Because them motherfuckers kick ass like no one else's business. Did you see it? Could you imagine if a kangaroo, just think if the rat can do that, the kangaroo can do that. That motherfucker damn jump in the air as much as he weighed with them damn feet he got. If he kick a human in the head up with them damn feet, that motherfucker, your head is going that way. Your body's going that way. And you're going to be like, ah. Because at that moment when the kangaroo hits you, you need to be that man that Willie B has on his finger, Deadpool, so you can regenerate whatever part of the body that kangaroo kicks off. If not, you kind of screwed at this moment. Yo, Do you know that?
Come back together, all right? Like, yeah.
Yo, you know that Snake was like fucked up, right? You know he went back home. They were like, "You get it, Mouse." Man, you ain't gonna believe that shit. That motherfucker flipped up, somersaulted. Then when he was somersaulted, somehow got extra air up like Superman and flew up in the air, made me miss my bite. Okay, then what happened? I came back for him again. This nigga twisted in the air like Neo from the Matrix, and then he kicked me with both feet. When he kicked me, it opened my head all the way back open like this, and I felt like, ah. And I came home. I was like, "Ah, fuck this shit. You go and get it."
Yeah, he kicked me in my face. My face.
Not only did he kick him, he jumped, twisted somersault, and then while he was back like Neo in the Matrix, just
And then I was caught on camera, so I'm very embarrassed. I was posterized today. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about that neo-Nazi thing too, man. We got to talk about that because if them jokers is practicing it over there and these jokers are practicing it here, this whole KKK stuff is about to take off to a whole new level. They're about to turn up, and we ain't got time to be fighting, man.
And Trump is back campaigning already.
They already got 3 backing them already.
I don't think this time Russia's going to be backing Trump like they did the first time.
I mean, he got the women out there that want to grab him by the PA. So I mean, like, you know.
Hey.
I don't get it still. I'm trying to figure it out, but you know.
R.I.P. to my man Shock G. But Trump new anthem should be just grab him in the biscuits.
Right. Like, oh my gosh. Like what?
You know, I love to dance, but I love to grab him in the biscuits. The Trumpy dance is your dance for romance. Come on, January. Do the Trump. Everybody do the Trump, the Trump.
You can imagine Trump trying to go like this.
Trump be like, he be saying some slick shit. I'm orange, you know, I'm off the hinge.
Yo.
Color of my skin. I once got busy in the Oval Office. Hold on. Why isn't anyone? Wasn't it in Ukraine or Russia where Trump had 2 strippers piss on him?
Okay, we're gonna save that for the next podcast.
I just dropped some wings. Go look it up. See y'all next week. Peace. Every Monday night at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock every Monday.
And you can reach me at Big Bougie on social media, BIG_BUJ, or just hashtag BIGBUJI and see what you get. And Willie B is also on social media. You can find him by searching for Willie B.
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram and Facebook. Oh my gosh. Now Wings Facebook page. Oh my gosh. Drip, 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 pee on you.
Trump and Kales. Trump and Kales. Pee on you. Piss on you. You. Pee on you. Yeah, Trump. I told you, Trump is so far. Trump knows he's a brother. He does brotherly things that only brothers would get away with. My question is, when he was having these women, these prostitutes in there do all this shit, where was his wife at? Drop some more wings. See y'all next week. And remember, be safe. And watch out for BA.2.